the extinct now back. I've been tracing this for a couple years now, and I am absolutely baffled at the amount of animals that are returning to the timeline.
This is called Lazarus return, when an animal species comes back like this. Definitely a huge part of the Mandela effect. And it's mind-blowing when this occurs every time. And Sierra Leone, that reminds me, I just now thinking in terms of gold or the treasure of the Sierra Leone or something. It seems like it's got that link. But this one had been considered extinct for many years, apparently, decades.
Since 1955, it says?
Yes.
Yes.
And then they revealed two new, species of crab new to science, and then two more that had come back.
Yeah, that last one hasn't been seen since 1796. That's a long time not to see a crustacean.
If it was hiding, it had the best hiding place in the world. We probably should look for Nessie wherever that thing was hiding, right?
I love this one.
I want
cute? I know. And I guess it's pronounced vinegar dog? Vinegar, not vinegar, right? Or is it vinegar?
Well, actually in Portuguese it's cão vinagre, cachorro vinagre, but it's vinegar dog.
Such a funny name, and it looks just like it didn't. Doesn't it look like it just stepped out of a mud puddle or something?
It does.
There's been a light rain, it got slightly clean, but it's like the pig pen of dogs. But it's not really a dog, is it?
Wow, they were classified as a dog, canine kind. Wild dog that comes also from kind of here in Brazil. We have a kind of wolf and coyotes, but Brazilians, there's different names. They're in that lineage. And they're tiny, they're cute, they're super cute. They walk together, like, I forgot the name, but they're all together. And in my timeline, they were extinct, but they are not. They are endangered.
Now let's focus on that. This is big. We love it when this happens. Let's talk about that. So tell us what you remember about them previously being extinct. How did you hear about it, all that?
I remember reading about them and knowing that they were extincted. I just like in books, hear about the Brazilian animals and stuff. Yes. And I was like, hold on, to me they were extincted, and then many people told me, they're not, they're still here, but I swear, for me they were extinct. Because I thought that it was super cute and I was always crazy for dogs, kind of animals. And then it's not. And I'm happy, but they're endangered species right now. Here he's called boto cor-de-rosa. It's a kind of dolphin, but because if it was dolphin, it would be golfinho in Portuguese. But he's a boto, which is a kind of a dolphin. And this one, I know since I'm a child. I've never been close to this one, to one of them, which I wish, because they are in Amazon rivers and I've never been there. But for many people, I think Chris especially, it's a Mandela Effect animal. But for me, I grew up because that animal is surrounded by legends here in Brazil. It's really, really wise animal and also is endangered. But this one, I knew it. It didn't appear like for me. I knew since in my timeline, he exists since I'm little. The legend is that in some nights, I think in full moon, the boto becomes a human being, a man, very charming, and he goes out of the water. And usually where he lives in those rivers, around us, those little houses of like, not Indian, but kind of Indian people that lives there. I forgot the name in English, how to say about them, those villages. And they seduce young women and they make them pregnant. And then they go back to the river as a boto, as a dolphin. And the next day or some days, the woman finds out that she's pregnant, but the father is the boto. And that child would grow up with some special powers or something. And some people say that it's just because those mothers doesn't want to tell who the father is and blame the boto. Okay, I'm pregnant. The boto, It's the father. It's not my fault. It's just a fear. Not like Virgin Mary.
Right.
This is extinct species of leopard back on timeline. Who found this? Is this you, Chris?
I found it. I think someone actually posted it to my Facebook page. It's where I actually first discovered it. I'm like, wow, another animal back on the timeline. Thought to be extinct. This one for 30 years, and it's back.
Love the name that's got clouded leopard in the name itself. That seems significant about clouds and this whole golden timeline, the white animals. So it's definitely of the same kind of feeling, vibration.
You could totally tell it would be totally camouflaged on some rocks, just.
Oh, for real, dude.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention too, like when the expression is used back on the timeline, the way I interpret that, or the way maybe we should, an alternative way of thinking about that is that we have actually gotten back onto that timeline. So it's not like we pulled the clouded leopard into our timeline, but we've raised our frequency enough to go into the timeline where they never went extinct.
This is a 100-year-old Galapagos giant tortoise. A giant tortoise, I love this, gave the name Fern, thought to have gone extinct 112 years ago. Park rangers reported citing droppings in tracks suggesting that there are many more than just one. This is wild. Another extinct animal that has found its way back on the timeline, or we have found our way back onto its timeline, as you were saying.
And this is a well-studied area. It's not like the Galapagos has not been trekked, by all sorts of naturalists, observers, scientists, biologists, botanists, you name it. And this thing is giant. So this one blows me away. Like, how did we miss this? And it's not even a short-lived small animal. It's 100 years old. And there's more than one, apparently.
Isn't this where Darwin did his studies?
It is. Yeah, I presented something on this at our conference, I think last year, about loving the unknown and being on the SS Beagle, and how Mandela effects can be a lot like that journey on a boat, looking on an expedition to just trek and see what can we find. That's really what we're doing here at IMEC. We're able to track down these returning, previously extinct species. This is a different kind of science than what I was taught when I went to school. I wish it was part of my curriculum, but now it can be for everybody.
We've been hearing a lot about this next one. Cicadas have been coming out, guys. It's cicada season.
Hearing a lot. I love the pun.
They are some strange creatures. They hibernate for really long periods of time, and then they emerge. And entomologists were worried that the brood X cicadas were extinct on Long Island. The small emergence, though, has found that they actually are not. This year's cicada class will bore into the ground and won't emerge again until 2038. So it's not like they're around every year and we can test and say, hey, they've gone or they're not gone, I
was going to say, one thing I wanted to say about the cicadas was that I remember, because I was telling so many people about this, back in 2016, around the time when Mandela effects were starting to happen to me, the cicadas were supposed to be erupting back then.
I'm sorry, the what?
The cicadas were supposed to be. Yeah.
I've never seen a cicada creature. I've seen a cicada. The only cicada I know is John Cicada.
Oh, I was talking tomato and tomato. Right. With these tomatoes, so there's definitely something that I've sensed myself. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, if they knew maybe 5 years ago they were supposed to come out and then they just disappeared. But I remember there was talk about this about 5 years ago, and then it just went away. And then this year, here they are. So
that's crazy. I'm reading so they bore into the ground and don't come back up until 2038. That's crazy.
A giant river otter thought to be extinct pops up in Argentina.
Now, when you say giant, how big is this, Chris?
They can grow as long as 5 feet 6 inches. They're a little shorter than Napoleon. Thank you.
So he literally muscled his way in, being that big. Mike, that is huge.
This is another giant animal coming back, like that giant Galapagos tortoise. Here we've got something huge.
And the founder of the North Face and Esprit Outdoor Suppliers. But basically, he's the one that spotted it. It came up next to their boat. So it was quite the experience, and it was something where this extinct animal wanted to, let him know that he's back, or we're back into that timeline by having someone so notable be the one that spotted him. So I thought that was really interesting too.
The magic rabbit, Ilipika. Did I say that right? Ilipika?
Yeah, this one was really super interesting because, first of all, how it looks is one thing. The second thing is that, okay, this is a species of rabbit that wasn't discovered until 1983. That's a long time not to discover this cute little creature. First discovered in 1983, hasn't been seen in 20 years, and then the other week it was spotted again.
But it doesn't look like a rabbit, though, does it?
Oh, the ears are kind of short for a rabbit, seems like.
It reminds me more of a mouse or something like that.
Yeah.
But discovered in 83 and hadn't been seen since, and all of a sudden it just pops back up. That's not a normal thing. The pink grasshopper. Okay, I've got grasshoppers here. I've grown up around grasshoppers all my life. I'm from the South. We got them all over down here. I have never seen anything but a green grasshopper. Has anybody ever seen a different colored grasshopper besides green? Maybe some black in it.
Just kind of a brownish color, maybe?
Right, maybe a brownish color, but definitely.
What's interesting too about this guy is like the spiritual meaning of a pink grasshopper. It represents goodness and the ability to transmute out of parasitic behavior 1,000,000 times better than before. So it's a good sign to see a pink grasshopper.
It's a good message for all of us. It's kind of like, here's the right trail to go on too. I like that meaning. Transcend from parasitic behavior.
Ooh, look at this.
You'd love this one.
Absolutely. As a wolf lover and a canine lover, I do like this. So it says the New Guinea Highland wild dogs have been confirmed as rediscovered. Here we got another rediscovery, a Lazarus animal, as Cynthia put it earlier, on the island in the South Pacific. Rarest of the canine species left on Earth. And I love this. Most of them are can you guys guess what color, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching the screen? If you said golden, you are absolutely right. It is gold. However, they also come in cream, roan, or black with various markings and patterns. But that golden color again, probably the most ancient species of dogs still alive, and may be a key ancestor of the modern domesticated dogs. This thing is absolutely gorgeous.
This extinct dog was actually spotted in 2017. So for a lot of us, we just heard the news recently, but in the timeline we're in now, it was already discovered rediscovered 4 years ago.
These are singing dogs too, for whatever that's worth. But that reminds me of wolves.
Hopefully they've got a better singing voice than this wolf. The pink Manta Ray. So I've never heard of a pink Manta Ray. I've heard of manta rays. I thought only certain animals had that pink color due to their diet. This is a little strange to me.
We're including it for a couple reasons. One, for me, it's a Mandela effect because I didn't see this when it was first reported in February 2020. Now, obviously, other things were going on in the world at that point, but still, it would have probably lit up parts of the internet where we would have seen its smiling little face. And the other reason that this is a beautiful inclusion for our show is that we do showcase animals that are either Mandanimals, like someone imagined them and now they're real, or they were extinct and now they're back, or in this case, seems like an emissary and a beautiful being of light and love. It radiates love. You can't not smile. At least I can't refrain from smiling when I see it. And now we've got this also a new word for me, erythrism. So it's sort of like this phenomenon is just coming in at the same time as the Mandela effect. And I think Chris has had videos on the golden timeline. We've touched on it as well in these videos for Open Tables. So we take it as a good sign, a good omen, smiling, friendly face, and lots of love.
What were you going to say, Chris?
I was going to say, when I was reading the article about the pink manta ray, it said they're as rare as strawberry leopards. And I was going to look up I forgot to do it. I'll have to do that. But I'm like, I never heard of strawberry leopards, but that must be a thing too.
Look at this beautiful white cardinal. Rare white cardinal. So I've never seen a white cardinal. I've lived in Tennessee a good majority of my life off and on, and I've never once seen a white cardinal. I can tell you that for a fact.
And you can tell this one's all about love. It looks like a Valentine. It's got the beautiful red, the pink, the white. It's so perfect. It's really all about love.
I don't know that I would know this was a cardinal if I saw it. I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Because I've seen yellow ones. I like pictures, not in person, but I've seen that we have yellow cardinals now. And of course, I grew up in St. Louis, where the baseball teams are. But we have them here in Tulsa as well. But I guess all throughout the Midwest, the red ones. But I've never seen one of these.
I think it was our last episode. We actually had the golden cardinal. So now we've got the white and pink cardinal. How many of you know about black deer?
This is new for me. They make it sound like they've been around, but
I know. So like for myself, like I grew up in upstate New York. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of deer hunters, so to speak. It was like a big thing, and people were always talking about deer, and I shot a 20 pointer, or it was on talk all the time. I never heard of black deer, and one of the things that's interesting about it is that in Texas, 8.5% of the deer population are black.
That's huge.
I know, and in other parts of the country, it's like 1 to 2% are black. I had never heard of them before, so. And
I live in an area that has a lot of deer. I came back from a walk last night. There was a deer standing in my front yard munching on apples. But I've never seen a black deer, even though we're inundated with deer right here. And this reminds me of the legend of the white buffalo calf maiden, because it's not just about the white animals, but so the return of the white buffalo is also a symbol. It's an emblem of the times, which we are in right now, where all of the colors come together, ideally, in peace, harmoniously, with a shared sense of respect for one another. So to me, I think they even talk about the black buffalo, the white buffalo. And it's just representative of the various types of people, and that although there's a great variety of differences, these very pure colors like black and white, these symbols, these protectors, are indicative that they are protecting and respecting all of us.